Okay, here we go. Let's do the melting point versus the gigantic war factory. The war factory is the biggest unit in the game. And to give you an idea of how big they are, those melting points right there, all four of them, those are gigantic. But compared to the war factory, they look so tiny and so small. But let's find out who's going to win. We've been talking about God's grace in the last video. How we always want to give all credit, glory, honor, and recognition to God through His Son Jesus. And the melting points dominated the first fight. Let's check out the second. Hey everybody, could I please ask you a favor? If you don't mind, scroll down below, click our subscribe button, because we could really use your help. Thank you very much. The gardeners are here. Hopefully the microphone doesn't pick up too much noise. The melting point is one of my favorite units in the game. Of course, I'm basically new to the PvP, but the melting point is doing really well for me so far. But I thought that this would be a really fun matchup. The melting point versus the war factory. Now you might be thinking, well, Garrett, let's take a look at Bruce Lee. Let's take a look at Wayne Gretzky in hockey. Let's take a look at Eddie Van Halen. Didn't their human effort help them to accomplish great things? Yes and no. Yes, they were given incredible grace from God. Everything is grace. So there will be no boasting in heaven. And God did send Bruce, let's just take Bruce Lee for example. God did send Bruce Lee incredible grace. It was all part of God's plan to use Bruce Lee as a tool the way that the Lord Jesus did. We don't give Bruce Lee the credit for his fighting, his fierceness, the competitive nature or demon inside of him. We give all the credit to God through Jesus. Okay, placement here is a little bit weird because the war factories are too big. And my goal is to place them and make the fight as fair as I possibly can. The melting point is doing work so far, but let's keep going. So Garrett, are you telling me that my human effort on guitar or my effort to get really good in Apex Legends doesn't matter? It matters from a human point of view, but your effort, your right hand mouse, your left hand on the keyboard or controller, you're dominating because God is simply giving you grace to dominate. It's not you doing it. It's God's grace enabling you. Okay, that fight right there was a lot closer. Let's fully upgrade them now 100%. And remember, the upgrades are unfair. I chose my favorite upgrades. You're going to have yours to choose. And changing the upgrades would greatly change how this fight turns out. So let's go ahead and get some good placement here. Something that's fair. And by the way, the War Factory has the most upgrades in the entire game. It would cost you a fortune to upgrade all of them. Look at that. 6 upgrades for the War Factory. Now, steel balls are going to come out of it. And Phoenix jet fighters are going to come out of it now. Because remember, it's a war factory. It's pumping out war units. So can the melting points handle the steel balls and the phoenixes up in the sky? Let's take a look at this fight. And as we watch it, remember, everything is God's grace. Everything. So there will be no boasting in heaven. And since there's no boasting in heaven, let's never brag or boast here on earth either. The melting points they're hanging in there. They really are. With the steel balls coming out and the phoenixes. Okay, let's see what happens here. And the war factories are gonna win. That right there was like Mike Tyson fighting George Foreman. That was so cool. Let's give God all the credit, glory, honor, and recognition now and forever.